Me too. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to hashtag Give a Sister a Hug. I'm your girl, author Erica. Happy Saturday to all my sisters out there. Today, I have one of my sisters and good friends. She started off on my podcast, To the Max Give a Sister. To the Max Give a what it is. To the Max.
Girl, talk.
And I have Tiffany with the CEO of the Tea Boutique. So
Yes.
Tiffany, tell everyone hello and thanks for having you. How's your day today going on this Saturday morning?
Oh, it's good. I thought I was doing okay, and I'm so happy that I'm able to actually be on your show. Because I ain't gonna lie, when you have so much going on, you start trying to cross things off your list. Like, wait, can I reschedule this? So I'm glad. I was
It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be simple. It's not gonna be nothing pressing, and we just gonna have like a little girl talk like we had before. That's all it is. So today, I want you. We're gonna first talk. Tell us about the Tea Boutique.
okay. So the Tea Boutique tropical flavor sweet tea company. I have pineapple, coconut, strawberry, watermelon, and mango flavors. Super sweet, like how I like. Um, is locally owned right here in the city. I started about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember the exact date because, like we tend to do, I winged it when I first started.
Yes.
Um, I'm glad I'm still here because I did not know that no sweet tea business was gonna actually, like take off. So, but it is, and I'm thinking of new flavors right now as we go, and I keep growing. So it's been a huge blessing to have a beverage company.
That's good. So tell us more about Tea Boutique. Like, what made you started the Tea Boutique?
Well, it's a story because like a good friend of mine at the time was opening up a restaurant uptown, right?
Okay.
So I don't know what the heck made me think to bring up a beverage in the first place. Like it had to be like God, I swear, because I'm not even in no type of hospitality field, no food field or anything like that. I'm a medical billing specialist. So
Wow.
that's like it's a totally different field. But when she decided to open up the restaurant, just me being a friend, I was like, you can't open up a restaurant without having an actual like beverage, like a house beverage. So
Right.
I was like, go home and let me make some stuff for you. Let me play with some things. So I go home and I start playing with some different recipes, some different flavors and everything. And it ended up I brought it back to the restaurant. It was a straight hit. I was
Wow.
like, oh, did a drink? What? I had no idea I was going, nothing was going to come from that at all. I had no idea. And so at her restaurant, people started coming to the restaurant just asking for the tea. That's when I
Wow.
knew I was on to something. Her food was good. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't gonna put that down. Her food was good. But some people was just coming in like on their lunch break from work. Like,
Uh-huh.
can I mango tea? Because that's what I started off with. My first flavor was the mango tea. Everybody was like, "Can I get the mango tea?" And it was just it from there. It was just amazing. It took off. I had a lot of options, but it took off from there.
That's good. So I got a question, and I don't think I asked you this question in the past. Where
Okay.
did you get the name the Tea Boutique?
Ooh, okay. Thank God I got that. Thank God I got that name because the names I started with before, I had Who That T Shack. Um, I had Who That T Shack. What else I had? I can't remember the other names I came up with, but I know for a fact Who That T Shack.
Uh,
I then I don't even know. Okay, so I like boutiques, and I feel like boutiques are exclusive. When we shop at boutiques as women, we
right.
feel like we're getting something special.
Right.
Like not at
Hmm.
the mall or whatever. We went to a special boutique to get this outfit, and
Right.
that's how I felt about my tea. Like it's a special tea. Nobody else really doing it like how I'm doing it. So let me put this in a boutique category. So that's how I kind of came up with it. But that was after my godmother clowned me about the fact that I used Who That T-shirt. Because that was the first thing on to something. I was on to something. When I came up with that, I was so happy with that name. I brought it to her because you gotta have good people around you. So she was one of the people
That's correct.
and talk to and like, what you think about this? She said, T-Shack. No,
What is a T-Shack?
no. She was like, no, Tiffany, we're not doing no T-Shack. Come up with something else. So I was thinking, and T-Boutique. I like that better. You know,
The T-Shack was different too. I guess you figured the T-Shack was a little bit too hood.
maybe she was like, we're not doing it.
So what are some of the pros and cons have you experienced in the business world so far as being an entrepreneur and especially as a woman too?
Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the cons first. The cons is definitely when you working a full-time job and you trying to balance your passion, your business, outside of work full-time job. So it's like we want to come out with these ideas and create a business, but at the same time we have to work a full-time job. So it's almost like, are we gonna continue to work for somebody else, or are we gonna continue to try to go with our ideas? So
Correct.
it's a have a entrepreneur type of mindset and you can't let go of the idea that you want, and that becomes a con because now you're working all the time. You think your brain going all the time, thinking about your ideas, thinking about, and then you got to get up and go to work to a 9 to 5.
Correct. I know
So
that feeling.
yeah, that not having an actual plan.
Okay.
So I didn't start with no plan because the thing just dropped out of the sky for me. So I really been winging it for the past 2 years. I got a little better, but I've been winging it. So I encourage all of the women who have ideas, map it out as best you can. It's kind of hard for us as women and parents and employees to map things out. But if you can map it out, map it out. Talk about what days you're gonna do this, what days you're gonna do that. Balance in sleep. It's a lot of things that you have to balance in when you are an entrepreneur, and that's one thing I have trouble with is balance. So that's a big con for me. Trying to figure out how to get my profits and not exhaust myself, making sure I got the products correct. Make it it's a lot of things that go to a business that we don't think about, but I don't want that to discourage anybody because when you start to thinking about all of that stuff, then you'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna just work the 9 to 5. That's a lot easier. But it's a lot easier to work for somebody else, but at the same time, when you're building your own company, that's the accomplishment. That's the at the end of the day aha moment. So even though you have all of them kinds, because you will have a bunch,
Yes.
make sure that at the end of the day you know your why. Because it can get very exhausting trying to juggle everything. But I just encourage all of them to try to have a plan, um, as best you can, because that's my biggest kind. Still winging it and balance. Try to come up with some type of balance. Making sure, okay, if I'm gonna work my business at this time frame, work my office hours at this time frame, and then I think it'll be a little bit smoother for you. Now, as far as the pros, you have a limit. You don't have a limit on what your worth is. When you work in a 9 to 5, when you work in a business, it's a limit. The
Right.
CEO of that company gonna tell you what your limit is. Gonna tell you
Right.
what your limit is. But when you put your own brain and your own heart, there's no limit to that. Your profit is what your profit is. Your hours are what your hours are. So that's the pros for me, and it's become a huge. Like I said, I'm not even field field or the food entertainment field, but coming from medical specialist to what I'm doing now, I'm like, that's what's up.
So how are those moments when you get a special request for your tea? Like your friend started her own business and people was coming in requesting your tea. How did that make you feel knowing that you had no idea that this was gonna just go the way it's going? How did that make you feel?
man, that is feeling ever because like that's something you created and somebody actually enjoyed. So it's one thing to have your friends or your children or something like that to root you on. And, sometimes you be like, I'll just say that because
Yeah.
I'm but actual customers like really ordering the mango tea, like I said, it was just mango at that time. I was like, wow, this is I did. This is my creation. People are enjoying this. So that was like the best thing for me ever.
I know I had I think you gave me the mango. Did I have the mango? I really enjoyed the mango myself, even though my brother came in because he was like, "What this is?" And he liked it. And I was like, "Well, dang, you ain't saying me none." But it was really good. And I had the blooming, what is it, the blooming flavor that you have?
So in the beginning, a bunch of different names for the flavors, and I was trying to tie it into the boutique
Kind
theme.
of,
Like,
yeah.
so I had Majesty, Royalty, and the Barbie. So I think you
Oh,
had Barbie.
Barbie. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty good. I love that one too.
that's
But the
that's
mango one, my brother was like, I never had this. And he just like, when I look, he was going out the door with it. It's like, okay.
yes,
So it was pretty good. It was good. I really enjoyed. And those
yeah,
names kind of fit a boutique. Like you look for Royal and all of those. That fit the boutique. So we're gonna talk about more since we're in this corona pandemic. And I
yeah.
know a lot of small business have really been struggling with their business during this corona pandemic. So let's talk about, have you noticed any change with your business during this pandemic?
Yes, I did. Uh, first month or so was really rough because pickup and delivery, it was not. I'm sorry, it was it wasn't allowed.
Right.
But I know I was so big on wanting to get a storefront, and I learned something with this pandemic that if I would have had a storefront, that probably definitely wouldn't have been good for my business. So online has become the new thing. So I'm
Right.
glad. That's why I want to encourage a lot of women, you know, to make sure you have your online store set up. Make sure that website is set up because for me, for the longest, I was like online. I didn't do online for maybe the first year of my business. You wasn't able to order nothing online. So learning from the pandemic now, online has been my best friend. Being able to, have them order and
Right.
just ship. It's less contact with people, and that's been so good for me. So if you don't do nothing else, I would say definitely online store. Get your online store up and running. Get your website up and running. If you're thinking about having a business at home, like you said, thinking the ideas, that website is important. I didn't think it was important at first, but definitely the pandemic has shown the website, having your online store is important because that's what kept me surviving for the first, couple of months. The first having my online store.
So how was March for you? Because during March, March, April, and May, we was kind of quarantined. So how
Mhm.
was that? Was that
It
pretty
was it was
hard?
terrible because it was terrible. I did get a lot of orders. It might have been one or two or maybe three for loyal customers who've been with me for a long time.
Right.
But those
Mm-hmm.
customers, they wasn't messing with it. I don't blame them. But after some maybe I'm gonna say the beginning of the middle of April, maybe it started
Okay.
picking up for me with online.
Okay.
So, but like March, no, it was just bad. It was terrible. Nobody was messing with it at all. So
So what about sales and funds? Like, did you lose a lot? Or,
I did. So the thing is, that's kind of like how where the 9 to 5 comes in at because
okay.
I was an essential worker. I mean, being in the medical field, doing the medical billing and coding, being an essential worker, I was still able to work. So I can't knock the 9 to 5.
Right. It played in the part. It kind of filled that gap where you was losing with your own
It
business. It
did,
kind of filled in for you.
it did, but definitely lost my sales. start picking back up until like maybe the beginning of May. It was very, very harsh on the business. I took it as maybe it's a break for me to go ahead and reinvent, maybe rebrand
Okay.
out flavors. So once this thing is over, maybe I can pick back up again, and it did. So I'm
So what during this pandemic time, and you say you was looking at revamping and what have you revamped and what have you changed with the tea boutique as far as flavors, or have you changed doing different things
yeah.
differently, or what?
So in the pandemic, I was about ideas. So I have a lot of different things that's coming up. New flavors, green
Okay.
tea coming. So it's gonna be my version of green tea though. So all y'all who've been asking me to have a healthier version of tea, I ain't gonna say, I ain't gonna say it's that much healthier, but it's a healthier version of my tea. I'm gonna say. So I
Just a little teaspoon less of sugar.
right. So I got some new flavors going on. I got then I started thinking about my advertising and my marketing and those
Okay.
things. So the pandemic, when you think about pros and cons, it had some pros with it for us entrepreneurs to be able to take a step back. And then when we take that step back, we was able to think about some things more. Because before the pandemic, we still was just go, 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 go.
Right.
Sometimes your brain don't have time to think about new things and how can different. So that's what it's done for me in my business. I've been able to think about what can I do differently now when I start coming back. And I got the henny tea, y'all. Y'all see the henny tea
I
came
wanted
out.
to ask you about the henny tea. Talk about the henny tea, because
Yes,
I wanted. I said
yes,
I'm gonna have to see if I could get some of that, because that's not,
yes.
because I know Jennifer, she has the banana pudding Hennessy. So I was like,
Oh,
yes.
yes, yes.
I don't know what's with Henny, but Henny is taking over. She has it
Wow.
in her, she have it in her banana pudding.
Let me tell you how that came. So I do the Tigre. That was before the pandemic, but the Tigre is really mild. So a lot of my customers was like, this ain't strong. I mean, I get a little buzz, but us from New Orleans, we like to
We
be
want
like,
a buzz.
I'm a mild drink, probably, but they won't get drunk. So I'm like, all right, let me think about some things. And that's when, like like you said, during the pandemic, I'm thinking about, well, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to make that better? So since they've been asking for a little bit, stronger, maybe I could go ahead and try to do the Henny tea. So the Henny tea is basically Hennessy and my strawberry watermelon. But it's my
Okay.
perfect balance, you know what I'm saying? So like there might be other stuff out there that's like it, but my perfect balance of the Henny tea and my strawberry watermelon, it's what's up. I got to get you.
So how was the feedback on the Henny tea?
So I've only had a few customers to actually buy the Henny tea
Okay.
because it's really new. I think had it up for the past 2 weeks, but all the feedback has been really good because they've been saying that it's the perfect balance. Like you can still taste the great flavor of my tea, and you can still taste the liquor, so it balanced out really, really good. I've
So
been
are
getting
they
some.
getting that buzz they're looking for, or
Yes,
okay?
they
Well,
get
that's the thing. We want that buzz here in New Orleans.
yes.
We want that buzz. So
Yep.
as we move through this pandemic and all, what's the future look like for the tea boutique as we work through the pandemic? We don't know how long this gonna be. What's the future looking like for the tea boutique?
Well, I definitely I'm boosting like I'm online definitely more because I'm seeing that's not gonna go anywhere, and then I'm also seeing the importance of it. So I'm working on beefing that up more. You
Okay.
know, getting that going more. I'm actually in my first pop up tomorrow since the pandemic. So I'm excited about that. I got a whole bunch of new things going on with that too because I never used to do raffles and stuff at the pop up. So it's like being in the pandemic, you think about a lot of what you could do with that idle time. So like tomorrow, I'm gonna be raffling off some of my souvenir T-shirts. I got a
Okay.
lot of collectibles coming. That's coming to the Tea Boutique.
Okay.
Tea tumblers. I think you can see those on my website as well. I'm doing taste parties. It's a lot of things. Hopefully, everything is good by the end of this year. But I'm gonna have a lot of good things coming because I ain't gonna release everything. Now I can't say
Right. We
everything.
gotta
But
hold
what
a little something back. We can't say everything.
but let's just say, the pandemic has been all bad for the tea boutique. I definitely had a slum in sales. I definitely had to think about revamping a lot of things, and I definitely noticed the importance of having an online store.
Right. And
So it helped.
that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing. Recognizing what we can do better.
yes,
We may have to change some things, like internet. Like you said, you didn't use the social media like talking about it, so now you
right.
know. Oh, I gotta step this game up just a little bit more.
Definitely.
So I think that's what this whole pandemic been about, us just sitting down thinking about changes. Me myself, I have a new book coming out, and I did that during the pandemic. I
That's
have also made some changes doing different little things because internet and people are sitting down doing my podcasts or something that I'm doing face to face now. I didn't do that because of the pandemic. Now people have time to sit down, so
right.
it gave us that time, even though we may have lost some. We like you lost some sales, but it give us that time for 2020 to start our planning for 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been good. Like it's good. So you talked about what's the future looking like for the tea boutique.
Hmm.
What do you have for our ladies that may be sitting down, that may be thinking about starting their own business, but they're reluctant because of this pandemic? We don't know how long this gonna be, but what you have for them as far as them wanting to do their own business and
Well,
during this pandemic?
well, to be honest, I think it's a great time if they are sitting down thinking about it because of the fact that one thing this pandemic did, it did force us to sit down. It did force us to have our own time. So that brought forth a whole lot of ideas, and I think that women are thinking about what they can do better, especially the women who lost their jobs.
Right.
The couldn't work. So of course that has them at home thinking about, well, damn, if I couldn't even work, how can I start my business? All I have to say is start, definitely start, because when I started this thing, I had no idea where it was gonna go. I had no idea that a couple of years later it was gonna actually be something, be a brand. So I would just say start. I don't care if you have an idea, take that idea from day to day. It's gonna be something different from day to day. Don't just think about, I did mention planning, but don't get wrapped up in that planning. Just start. Like I said, I'm still winging a lot of stuff 3 years later. Don't get wrapped up in planning. Take that day by day. Start your idea right now while you do have that time to think and that time to actually say, okay, I couldn't work. What can I do for myself? How can I employ myself? Just start. Don't worry about the fact that it's a pandemic. Don't worry, it's not gonna be forever. Start right now. Online stores has been great. You know what I'm saying? People say Amazon's still working. So
Exactly. Yeah.
y'all still work. Get the ideas together and then let this be a lesson learned, because for the people who couldn't work, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could be working for yourself. So make sure that you take it as a lesson too and be like, well, I definitely start my idea now. Think about it that way. Like, I have no choice but to start whatever my idea, whatever I've been brainstorming on. I have no choice but to do that. They should look at it like that, because we really, a lot of women didn't have, once they said you couldn't go back to work, you couldn't go back to work.
Right.
So don't get wrapped up in the plan. And that's my advice to you. Don't get wrapped up in the plan. And all of that stuff is gonna come and fall into place. Believe me. It'll fall into right the way that it. Don't waste too much time thinking about, well, I have to get this perfect. I have to
Right.
get this. I got to get the LLC. I don't think I actually got an LLC to about maybe almost 2 years really doing it.
Wow.
I know, and I'm glad I had been protected all that time. God protected me with
Right.
everything.
Because somebody
But
could have stole that name from you or something.
right, I'm not to not LLC themselves quickly, but for me it didn't work quickly. I was still trying. thought came to my mind. Where is this going? What do I do next with this?
Hmm.
And then I was so caught up thinking that the whole LLC thing was so expensive to where I didn't even want to bother with it.
And then
So
you found out probably wasn't that expensive what you thought it was.
right, right, right. So I started anyway without the LLC, and it's here. So basically, I just want to say, don't get wrapped up in planning. Don't get wrapped up in the overwhelming big picture. Take it day by day. Work on your stuff day by day. Right now, you have the time to do that, and think of it as you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice but to employ yourself. Look at it that way, so you can get your ball rolling. Because we can't rely on other people employing. You
Right.
know,
Gotcha. Because that's why I'm at right now. Because as you know, I take care of my mom, and I was working my job for 14 years. But because of the pandemic, I had to quit my job of 14 years to take care of my mama. So it gave me that time not only to be home with my mama, to start looking out on how to revamp I'm doing my podcast, write my books. I have other little projects that I have really had time to really sit down and do. So it may look bad, but at the end of the day, it's all good because you get to do something that you really like, and you're not answering to nobody. That's the best
exactly.
thing. You doing your own thing whenever you want to, however you want to. So that's the biggest thing for me too. Like I really
Yeah,
like being home. Like I was like, well, damn, why I ain't do this long time ago? But I think because of this pandemic gave us all that opportunity to really do something that we really love, because I really noticed that entrepreneur has jumped up a lot during this
yes,
pandemic, and you would think people would be down, but people really starting their own business. And I guess because of so many layoffs, the unemployment, the this and the that, so many things that we have been facing during this time. So I'm thankful that you came on to share. What are some last word? We always talk about, and before we go, support system. How has that support system been for you too during the pandemic in your business? Like what that support system look like for you?
well, okay. So I want to tell ask for help. I'm very prideful, so I tend to not, and I tend to try to do everything myself. But it exhausted me. Um, I got the best team member in the world. One team member, my mama.
Don't they always show up?
I really want to be honest, but she's been my backbone and my support system throughout this whole thing because it's been tough, trying to think about keep going. It's a lot. It's a lot of the times we think about quitting because we like being at the 9 to 5 sometimes is easier. You know what I'm saying? Being
Right,
an entrepreneur is hard. So everything is you.
right.
Um, so I don't have a huge support system. I did have a lot of the customers, like I said, that been banging with me for the longest since the start that kept me afloat. But I do want to encourage women to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be prideful like me. Try to do everything yourself. Ask for help. Start delegating some stuff. Make a team. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm about to delegate a whole lot of stuff. All my friends that's watching me, you gonna get a phone call from me, okay?
We
I
want to
need
branch
your
out
help.
right now.
I need you to help me, y'all.
And
Look,
I think that's the best thing we do get. I think as women, that's what we do. It's just not true. I have that sometimes too, where I don't want to ask for help. I think
right.
it's just because we women and we supposed to be superwoman. We
Yep.
supposed, we supposed to be able to do it all. No matter how hard it get, we supposed to do it all. But we need that help because we
Yes.
exhaust ourselves. Like at the end of the day, we
Yes.
we tired and everything, especially like you have kids, so you have to have that time.
Yep. All about the they know the business. all,
They could do what you good at. You could do
yep.
this. So that's good. It's good that we making those changes. It's good that the T boutique is still going.
Yes.
Making
Yes.
those changes and just keep moving. So, what are some of the last words that you may have for our sisters that's maybe setting out there? What are some encouraging words that you may have for them?
Okay. Well, get a pen and paper. Put all those ideas on paper. Start crossing things off your list. It takes one day at a time. Don't look at all of the overwhelming things of what we're going through right now, what we think we might be going through, what we think the pandemic ain't go in, and all of those things. I like to get out of my head and just start crossing off the list. Y'all start with y'all ideas, smallest to biggest, and just start getting that done. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't get it done. Don't let nobody tell you it's a stupid idea. Everybody ideas is not for everybody, but they are for some. A lot of people think my tea is like super sweet, and they okay. It's okay for them to think that. I like my
Right.
that's so, but I didn't let that discourage me from thinking, maybe a couple of people say that it's super sweet. I just on. That's my idea. That's the way that I like to do it. So I don't want anybody to think that their ideas are, not if one person say they don't like their idea, now they're not even pursuing their passion of entrepreneurship because somebody then, let them down. Keep
Right.
going, all that stuff on paper, start executing that shit like now. Start doing there's something you can do today off that list. You know what I'm saying? Don't think about the whole big old thing and get overwhelmed because that's what I used to do. And that's what used to exhaust me because I think about I'm trying to be here, but I'm still right here. But here is where it's going to get me to here one day at a time, though, my sisters. You got to think about it. It's just, especially if you just one person like me, just running the whole show by yourself. Take that stuff one day at a time. And before you know it, it's going to get bigger, it's going to get bigger, and it's going to get bigger. Keep going, go keep growing. And that's all I have to say.
So let everyone know where let everyone know where we can order tea from and your social media platform.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram at the underscore T Boutique. I be getting that sometimes. So it's the THE_T Boutique on Instagram, and it's theteabouteaque.com is my online store. I'm not on Facebook that much, so those two is definitely where you can reach me. That's where you can find me at.
So
And 27 tomorrow is my first pop up of since the pandemic started. So if anybody is on that side, I'm gonna post on my page where the location is gonna be. It's gonna be a wonderful event because it's Sassy A Lip Gloss. It's her second annual. That's a young woman entrepreneur. I'm so
yes,
proud of her.
yes.
That's the second annual pop up I'm a part of. So if y'all want to check me out, check out the new Henny Tea. It's gonna be there. Y'all show up.
So I want to say thanks from stopping by and give a sister a hug out of your busy day. I know you're dead busy and your schedule tight. So I just want to say thank you for
Thank
your time because I just give this information for all our sisters out there. We have to keep encouraging each other and pushing each other to go where we need to go at and do what we need to do and be entrepreneurs. It's okay. So
you.
we could be mamas, we could be this, and we could be that, and we can be an entrepreneur too. So that's what I wanted. So I want to say thank you, and I want to say thanks to all my sisters that's watching. Give a sister a hug. Know that you're not alone. Myself and Tiffany, we here with you. We all gonna get through this together, and we gonna be on. We gonna come out on the best of everything, and we all gonna have a story to tell. So thanks.
Yes.
Have a good day, and Tiffany,
Thank you
thank
for
you
having
so much, so much.
me. Thank
All right,
All
thanks
right.
a lot.
Thank you.